If you're looking at the thumbnail of this video and thinking these three jabronis are actually going to try to defend Nico Harrison, you're kind of right, but not really. This is Basketball Island. Hein, Hambone, Fab, and...
Where's Wes?
Where's Wes? Yeah. Wes...
Under
you know what?
weather.
Wes is a good family man.
Yeah.
Wes is doing his family duty, being there for his family. So just a little three-man weave action. And let's start with Lakers T-Wolves. And specifically, was Nico right is more so tied to defense wins championships. And with Luka Doncic playing the defense that we saw in that last game, there is no way the Lakers can win the series if he's playing that type of defense.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You can get away with his defense, like as we saw last year with the Mavericks, and make a significant run. But the Lakers don't have the other pieces to protect him. No. They don't have rim protection. They have other perimeter defenders who are looking like sieves right now, like Austin Reeves. So, you know, it wasn't really about this year for the Lakers based on how it looks. But when LeBron and Luka are on a team, those expectations are going to be sky high, right?
Yeah.
It's just JJ playing all starters 24 minutes in the second half. Luka clearly getting exposed, picked on by Jaden McDaniels, Anthony Edwards. Like, he's going to have to show a little more pride on that end, right? Like, it's very easy to see where the Lakers defense just kind of falls apart. And, like, credit to LeBron, your boy, who, like...
That block?
Man,
come on,
just
man.
making up for all of the errors, all of the Matador D that you see.
He played hard defense. He was the only one defending for them.
Yeah.
And I know that slap on the wrist of Edwards is a foul, but man, I hated it.
Yeah.
It was such a buzzkill that was a foul. But no, a letter of the law.
In Rockets Warriors, that's nothing. they just let that slide.
Didn't LeBron try to say though ball's part of the hand?
Hand
he
part
was
of the
like,
ball.
no, it's like, you got him.
It's
But
wrist.
yeah, you got it.
We play bricklayers. Everybody hands part of the ball.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
It's tough to see it, right? Because Luka's so talented offensively, but it's glaring how bad he is on the defensive end of the floor. We're obviously joking with the thumbnail, like, you know, obviously you could have gotten more, Nico. Like, we know this.
Yeah, Nico.
No. Nico did a terrible job with the trade. I love Luka Doncic too. Like, I'm not.
We love Luka.
But I'll say this, and Zach Lowe said this on his pod the other day. Why does Luka almost have to be coerced into trying on defense? Like, you talked about it last year. Like, people forget this with that Mavs team. From All-Star break on, Mavs were a top 3 defense last year. And that was a huge part to their run. And he doesn't have that protections here. But he at least gave on defense a little more last year, where it didn't happen for a couple games. Oh, they need me to defend? Yeah, I'll start defending.
So I'll say this. Game 3, he looked legitimately sick. You know, he was even coming into the third
he was
quarter late.
throwing up.
So he had a stomach bug. That's fine. You know, you kind of get a pass.
And credit him for fighting through that.
You know, clearly wasn't himself. Game 4, I don't know if he's still feeling some effects of that, but there was no, like, jam on defense whatsoever.
Nothing.
And the Lakers as a whole are just conceding switches too easily. Like, Ant-Man, let's talk about Ant-Man here.
Yeah.
He's literally just picking and choosing who he wants to go at. It's like, okay, come here. You don't have the athleticism to stay in front of me. I'm getting to the rim. You got no one blocking shots at the net. And even Randall is just hunting mismatches that he wants.
Yeah, it's we talked about it coming into the series. I know you love the Lakers in this series. It's just the rim protection's coming back to haunt them, especially if you're getting such minimal resistance.
Yeah.
Like, the Wolves are getting, to your point, whatever they want. I think Julius Randle is having a really good playoffs. Yeah. It's just, you can't just give up the easy switches, and you can't give up easy penetration.
It's a
lot of pressure on Rui Hachimura, DFS, to, like, make up for all the errors that we're seeing. You need a little bit more resistance, because I do think the creation on the Lakers side will carry you throughout a game. But they were up 10 going to the fourth.
I think their offensive rating is fine.
Yeah.
Like, their offense has been good.
But even you're not really getting a great offensive performance from Luka either. Yes, he's scoring, but he's not getting people involved.
The assists aren't there.
There, but you're at least getting, like, to me, it's just, if you know that guy's going to get you a shot every single time down the floor, it's just a lot of the frustration that we've seen from him, right? Like, we saw it really manifest in the finals last year against Boston. It's like, it's just now we're seeing those old habits creep up.
You talking about the winner's locker room where the Celtics are?
The win horse. Legendary.
Honestly, man, like,
it's the intangible stuff.
So here's the thing, though. So we're talking about this now ahead of Game 5. Would it surprise you if Luka just goes scorched earth Game 5?
Oh no, slam Luka!
Right? We're a betting podcast first. I'll be betting Luka's godfather. I'll be betting Luka's points.
Lakers
I kind of feel like there might be some value on the assist just because there's been a real lack of
probably
it.
Low, yeah.
But one, to me, the most annoying thing is this: we don't have much of these LeBron seasons left, and we're wasting it because we're still seeing peak LeBron. Like the he's doing is amazing, and like
I don't even know how to really describe what version of LeBron this is. Like, I don't know. It's just a hybrid of all the old LeBrons put together.
We're seeing him rest a bit on offense because Luka can carry, and all of the energy is going to defense.
So Redick playing everyone in the second half. I just feel like I get it, but man, you got to give these guys a minute. Can you not put Goodwin in for a minute?
Gabe Vincent in for Reeves for like 3.
You know what I mean? I just think it's a little too aggressive. Like you couldn't give anyone else even a minute and a half.
But here's what I'll say. I love people doing things different. He looked at that like, we need this game or we lose the series. You had the extra day of rest. If it worked, I feel like we would all be like, Redick understood the assignment.
No, but you could tell
those guys gassed out. They gassed out.
They had nothing left in the tank, man.
I get it. If you're just like playing the game on paper, we're off until Wednesday. We have extra day off. These guys we can run to the ground. What kind of message did that send to like the guys on the bench?
Yeah.
Like Gabe Vincent, I don't think did anything to like not deserve a few minutes there.
We're talking about like 90 seconds.
But also too, you're up when you're up 10 going into the third. Maybe pull them for a minute before and then get the extended rest through the quarter break.
For a team that like lacks like depth, I feel like to me you needed to like. You could have received a jolt from someone on the bench, right? Like Vanderbilt maybe could have given you some like defensive minutes.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine Redick just like, you know what?
It's Bronny time.
I have a hunch.
It's time. Yeah. It's like,
this will energize LeBron.
Yeah, like Goodwin. Gabe Vincent, like anyone.
Again, I'm talking about like a 2 minute stint here, right?
Yeah. It just sends I think it permeates throughout the locker room. Like it's just a bad message. Like he was starting Jackson Hayes for like these like starts where he only plays like 48 minutes in a game. Like I think there are ways to like. I don't know, man. You could have played that a little bit better. I just don't like the message sense. If I'm a bench player on the Lakers, obviously you're gonna stay professional. It's just, was it really needed? Like. It's more of a statement. It's a little showy for me. Like you're doing a little too much. While I understand you weren't playing a game, you had a couple extra days off or whatever for rest. It's just I didn't like the message it sent to the rest of the guys.
How are you feeling going into that deciding game then? Like, are we saying the Lakers are completely done in the series? Because we've seen it from LeBron.
No, I don't think they're done. I mean, it's not done till it's done. Especially with a team like Minnesota who has a little bit of sketchiness. With like, let's look at last year. Looked like they were going to blow Denver out of the series. Yeah, they end up winning, but they coughed up a 2-0 lead at home.
They had to come back from 20 down in Game 7.
Yeah, but if you're looking at this, I mean, the Wolves are they're more athletic, they're bigger. They're killing them on the glass. Yeah. They just have more solutions and depth.
Yep.
And I think and a bigger point to this whole postseason is like, I've never seen stars get leaned on this hard. Yep. Jokic is playing the whole second half of a game. The Lakers aren't coming out. Yep. Like Curry was playing a career high minutes. It's just like these coaches are really leaning on these guys.
Look at Ant-Man, he's been great offensive. Ant-Man's defense has been unreal.
And that's what makes him special. Yeah. Right? Like that's like he can play the whole second half of Game 4 and still give you amazing effort on defense.
Both ends.
Yeah. Like
Jaden McDaniels too.
Jaden stepping up, right? Really, his aggression's gone through the roof. And like I think it's just very interesting. You said, I think Lakers do win Game 5, but it would not surprise me if Ant-Man was just like,
yes, I'm ending this.
This is my moment. Like we've seen him like rip the heart and soul out of Phoenix last year with that sweep. Like I wouldn't be shocked if Ant-Man just came up with like an all-time. I was gonna say something a little more vulgar, but like this is my league type performance. Yeah. I can see that happening. But Lakers do have a lot of pride. Your boy LeBron, he has come back from 3-1 before. Yes, I know you're pushing.
Get the headphone shot.
You're pushing that agenda.
It's funny though. Like last year around the same time, we talked about how the anointment of Ant-Man and how is he about to take the league? And he had the opportunity, and I gotta say he definitely that Nuggets series definitely wore him down. And he felt a little gassed out, and they definitely collapsed against Dallas. So if they win this series, can you see them making a serious run? Is he good enough to maybe – it even sounds crazy to get past the Thunder. Like anything feels possible with him.
Hey man, they lost in the first round 2 years ago against the eventual champion Nuggets in what was a good, tightly contested series.
The NBA TV series that no one watched, but it was amazing.
But it was actually really good. And then last year, conference finals. Kind of got bulldozed there by the Mavs. I think they had the right defensive pieces to kind of thwart him. And then, Cat kind of fell apart as well. I think this is kind of his trajectory. I think it's an underplayed story, quite frankly. He might be the next guy. And the fact that he can play both ends of the floor, 43 points, 14 to 17 from the free throw line, 17 free throw attempts. And he's an analytical darling too. He's shooting threes. He's getting a line.
That was the thing this year, right? The volume of threes to be I am a great shooter,
and it's carried on to the playoffs.
So this is what I'll say. He's obviously showing that with last postseason and this postseason, he can raise his game when it matters most. That's super encouraging for a young superstar because he relishes the moment. My only caveat for this playoffs is the Lakers' defense is Swiss cheese. So if you look at last year as well, Phoenix, Denver, then he kind of struggled against a better defense. I want to see him against the Warriors. I want to see him against Oklahoma City. Let's see how he looks against ferocious defensive teams who are going to make him think.
Arguably because the two best defenses left, right?
The Lakers are putting this on a platter for him. All due respect. Right?
They have
pick any switch you want, drive, no shot blocker.
No rim protection
it's a little too easy for him right now. So I want to see how things, amp up when the chess game intensifies.
100%. And in a hypothetical matchup against the Warriors in a second round, assuming they take care of business against Houston.
Let's get to it.
Well, no, I was going to say, speaking of two-way players, Jimmy Butler. Just hold on. Connor, iso ball.
Oh, man, he's heating up.
Let's just take a moment here.
Heart this guy showed, man. I don't know if y'all ever bruised your pelvis before, but it's not fun. It hurts.
If you haven't, you ain't living.
You wait in the trenches, man. I will say this, man. He looked pretty. I thought he was biding his time in the first half. You ever do it? It sucks. He bided his time in the first half. I think Kerr actually played that very, very well. Didn't play him a lot of minutes. I think he was just surviving. Credit to Buddy Hield, who showed out right from the hop, stripping Jalen Green twice.
He looks empowered.
Hitting big shots.
Yeah. He's filling into that Clay role pretty nicely. If I know Jimmy's getting on Buddy as well, telling him he can't dribble and the vibes feel good.
And Buddy, stop trying to dribble the ball. I hate that.
But that Jimmy performance, I'm fast forwarding right to that rebound at the end of the game.
That's a man's rebound for sure.
And he kind of won the mental battle against Dylan Brooks, who we love. We are Brooks people, I believe, on this pod.
Yeah.
But I think Jimmy won that mental battle as well, getting Brooks to foul him on that three, doing the old
the poke, the Hambone poke.
I love that poke.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, we need to recalibrate this game story here because there's so much going.
But the big and. Fab, you chirped me this morning. I fell asleep in the third quarter. Rewatched the fourth quarter this morning.
Dude, you gotta stop saying this publicly, man.
Dude,
no one needs to know this
I feel fresh. I feel like I just watched it. And I rewatched
3 hours sleep.
I rewatched the last 4 minutes again. Jimmy, from that moment on, just takes. I feel like he had 7 points, crucial rebounds, huge defensive possessions. You said it earlier. He really knew how to bide his time. Yep. And at that moment, he needed to take over, especially in a game offensively where Curry wasn't really there.
Curry didn't have his fastball.
Jimmy was the engine in every single facet of those last 4 minutes. And Houston seemed to have momentum. Jimmy completely snatched it away from them.
Yeah, it didn't look like in the first half Jimmy was moving well. I was like, okay, man, maybe he came back a little bit too early. I'm like, he doesn't look like he's.
Well, he did get hurt.
100% came back.
He did get hurt at the end too. Yes. He was holding his side on that last foul.
And bruise your pelvis and try and play a playoff game, man.
Yeah.
Right.
So, just a super fun game 4. First half, obviously.
Oh, the thuggery.
all the extracurricular stuff.
I got a hot take, man. While I love Jimmy Butler, that game was Draymond Green. The Warriors do not win that game without Draymond Green's defense on Alperen Şengün. When
that last possession.
Oh, and he let everyone know too.
Oh yeah.
He reminded us.
I think to me
we needed to be reminded.
Yeah. I think we were. Listen, I love Evan Mobley. I think we were very heavy on Draymond Green to win Defensive Player of the Year.
We got robbed. Let's just be honest. We got robbed.
I think Draymond does it to himself. So that whole game was just kind of like a microcosm of how people interpret Draymond Green, right? There's we were getting into it. You wanted him tossed. I think he was up against the damn line, and that's kind of how he lives his life.
He crossed
it for me. He needs to be on that edge.
Okay.
And he knows the difference between a technical foul and a flagrant. Someone as seasoned as Draymond
the refs bailed him out because the refs
understood the assignment.
they did the right thing. Yeah, we said this in the chat. chat last night.
Yes.
In almost any other situations, that's a double tech, and he's tossed. But the refs knew giving the flagrant, we can't toss him from a playoff game.
No.
And it wasn't like
it would ruin the game.
It wasn't like a big boot Hogan leg drop. He kind of just rolled, and it sort of fell on him.
He didn't stomp on Sabonis's chest. All right,
and
it was less than that.
All right, this is Draymond in a microcosm of him, where it's like, man, I respect the hell out of your defense. I respect the hell out of how much of a competitor you are. My opinion, probably shouldn't have even been on the court at the end of the game. I know we disagree. You got the first tech, okay? What you do after that is unnecessary. I'm all about playoff ball, physicality, all that stuff. That's not basketball, man. You being slick and trying to like kick a dude in the head. Like, I know you're trying to make it look accidental. You did it on purpose.
I love it.
So
no, that to me is not a basketball
play, man. Brooks did that. The Brooks Curry thing that happens a couple seconds before is exactly why that Draymond thing happens.
And Brooks did that a couple games earlier.
But Draymond does it to himself, man. He has he just can't hold himself back in these situations. No. And the refs are cowards. I'm sorry. You're scared to throw this guy out. It's a flagrant, but not a technical. What does that mean?
No, you're
doing mental gymnastics to keep this guy in the game.
And I respect it. And I think to me, like, Draymond was playing that game with one hand behind his back. I think he had 0 fouls in the first quarter, all the fouls in the second. And I'll say this, man, like, again, antics, shenanigans aside, keeping Draymond in that game, I think was the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. He made it as hard as possible to do that. Like the refs really had to like stretch the definition of what was occurring.
It's like when he gets in that mode, it's like a volcano that's erupting, and you're like, it just keeps going, and you're like, stop, man.
Because technically, after a dead ball play, like the foul was committed.
Yes.
Like anything after that shouldn't really be a flagrant. Yeah. It should be a tech, but like I think the refs did the right thing. And again, to put it like to his game on the court, Draymond left the game the third quarter with like 8 minutes left.
Yeah, he had 5 fouls.
5 fouls. Şengün then went off.
Yeah.
19 points with him, like with him on the bench. And then as soon as Draymond came back in, like it was Houston's best chance to win on offense against the Warriors' best player on defense. And Draymond won that battle. And I think to me that's what makes him so valuable. That's why I think he's the best defensive player of the year this year. When obviously Wemby being gone. That's why I would have voted for him had I had a vote. That's why we put money on him.
He deserved it.
But
it was a Draymond game to me.
I think you segued it nicely. We said at the beginning of the series, Houston's biggest problem. Who is their closer? Yep. Who's finishing games for them? Şengün, like you said, he was amazing. But push came to shove. That is who you're running your last possession for. And Draymond completely locked him down. Fred's not hitting 8 threes, that's not even a game.
I was getting 2019 Fred flashbacks. Golden State just drilling like 3 after 3. Well, he was having a crap series leading up to that game. So
Fred was, but he regression, right? Like regression to the mean. Like he was gonna get hot again. I think Houston lost this game on the free throw line. Like they continue to miss free throws. What was it, 19 of 31?
Yeah.
Like it was a 3-point game. You lost that game on the line. I think Houston's been playing very well. I think the 2 big lineup has been
Hack Adams made a big difference.
I have a note on that actually because they are Rockets are plus 24 in 32 minutes with Jabari, Şengün, Adams.
Yeah.
So to me, I actually think Udoka's a little slow to react here. To me, and I said this a couple weeks. Get Jalen Green off the court.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. He had a great game, too.
That was it.
He's been trashed in 3 of the 4 games. I don't really like him as a playmaker for others. He's like a trick-or-treat, shooting the ball kind of guy. I think you just have to be a little more drastic now.
Yep.
Throw him out there at the start. You know, if he has it, cool. If not, lean into these bigger lineups because they're more effective. Like, I love the way Jabari's been playing. Mm-hmm. He's been really good for them.
You're a big Jabari guy.
I'm not a huge Jabari guy, but he can board. He can shoot threes. Like, what's Jalen Green giving you? Like
empty offense. His defense has been passable.
It's empty calories.
Yeah, but it's just again, we're not the biggest.
Even with Adams on the court, it just felt like the Rockets were a little more secure.
Is Steven Adams the Rockets' second best player?
He's
credit to Kerr.
Series.
Kerr saw it and it's like we can't do this.
Yep.
And that was a decision. Mm-hmm. That was another thing of like that happened around like the 5-minute mark. That swung. That was where things swung. Was with Adams leaving that game.
Mm-hmm. The ability of Steven Adams to grab every offensive rebound is one of the greatest skills I've ever seen.
Reminds me of a young myself.
I mean,
we're not gonna let that
without the toughness.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm a good offensive rebounder. Thank you to Kirk Goldsberry. Lovely book, Sprawl Ball. It shows you a chart where the ball's going. So with no athleticism, you can get a lot of rebounds.
I mean, obviously, it looks like the Rockets are probably done at this
point.
Maybe they get game 5, but they're not winning this series.
My best bet my best bet, like, for Game 5 is Rockets -4. I think they showed enough to me in the series. I think the Warriors gave everything they had in that Game 4 and barely won. I think Jimmy's a little hobbled. I think Dre had a lot of. That was a very emotional game. I would put my money down on Rockets -4. I think that's a big bet. I think they take care of business. Warriors have been through this before.
Yeah. My only caveat on that bet is I think you kind of blew the game where Steph didn't have a fastball.
Yeah.
And now what's going to happen in Game 5?
But hold on, I will say this though: Houston all regular season has done a fantastic job defending Steph, and we saw. Yeah, we saw that yesterday.
I mean, he's popped off twice in the series, though, right?
Yeah, the geometrical, the Harlan call. Now, hold on. Let's just before we go talk some OKC and Cleveland. Let's look to the offseason. What would you do with this Houston team? Because it's clear they need a guy.
They need an offensive guy.
And I know Simmons Russillo talked about the whole the 3-for-1 or whatever. What move were you making if you're Houston?
So coming into this series, our first flag with Houston, I think, was who creates offense down the stretch, right? It's either going to be Van Vliet or it's going to be Şengün.
Credit to Şengün for actually doing it, though.
Yeah, so Şengün was great. Like, he was, but again, you're posting up the Warriors' best defender. I don't know if that's a beneficial matchup for you, but it's the best they've got. So it's those two guys cannot run critical offense late in the games, late in the playoffs. I just don't think that's tenable. So yes, I think Houston's in a great spot to leverage some of their assets. So 2-for-1, 3-for-1. They have contracts. Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet. Again, I don't know. You might need VanVleet for the next great team, but you do have the tools.
But to make a move. Reed Shepard is also still an asset. That's a third overall pick that someone will want to see.
Green out, man.
Yeah,
I think Green is the contract.
Yeah.
I think he's. Jabari Smith could be like.
They have a lot of options on the table that they could make a move.
Who's the guy you would target though? KD.
I think KD is a little old. I would go, again, if Phoenix is willing to let go of Devin Booker. I think that's been rumored. I think that's the guy you try and throw a lot of your chips in for. You just need a guy who can create good offense down the stretch. Those guys do not grow on trees.
Yeah.
You do have to sweeten the pot a little bit. KD would solve a lot of short-term issues, but the Rockets have dreams of being a perennial contender. I think
these windows are small though, man. Things can really change, and I think KD still has that 2 to 3 years good left. Who you going for?
I mean, I don't want to talk too much about the Rockets post-mortem.
No, we're not done yet.
They're not out of the playoffs yet, but
we know what they need.
They need a bucket getter.
Yeah,
that's it. It's
exactly.
pretty. With that, you can maintain your defensive integrity in what you've built, but just another guy who can score for you in crunch time because. This series is kind of playing out exactly how you think it was going to play out. Super competitive games.
Yeah.
They just can't get it done late.
You know what would have been interesting? And again, this kind of a Raptors adjacent pod, but Brandon Ingram could have been interesting.
Yeah.
Especially if you didn't want to hemorrhage all of your assets for a guy who may not have been available. Someone who can at least give you something for 2 years to see if he can, kind of revitalize what he was.
Sure there'll be
something like that. Someone who can create one-on-one. Who can you give the ball to and be oh, this guy is a bucket getter.
Yeah.
He can take this small, turn around, right shoulder fade. They don't have that. They just don't. Şengün did his best. When Draymond was out of the game, he was great. And then when Dre was in, he was not. I think that's the Rockets' biggest need.
Well, okay, so let's talk the team that drafted Şengün, and that's OKC.
What's the damn segue?
Yeah, there you go.
What a segue.
Digging deep in the bag for that one. Pretty much what we expected. Honestly, Memphis put up way more of a fight than I expected.
Hey, man, Ja had him figured out, man.
Yeah, Ja said it'd be 2-2. He had everything planned out, everything figured out.
I love Ja.
OKC, is it going to work? Is it going to work against them that they have this much time off?
Same thing happened.
Wait, hold on. Are you saying rest versus rust?
Rest versus
That's
rust.
a great debate.
It happened last year, right? So they swept the Pelicans last season, and then they just kind of waited, and then they got trucked in 6 by Dallas. Again, whoever they're going to play in the second round is a seasoned
Gonna come in beaten up pretty good.
They're gonna be tired. So that game
one,
OKC,
get ready to bet game one.
What's an alt spread OKC?
14.5.
Whoever enters that series is probably throwing game one in the toilet, right?
Yeah.
They're just it's gonna be you're off for one day. And then you're in OKC.
That's the FanDuel. We're taking your money because we'll go alt spread OKC and everybody else under on the other team.
I don't think we learned a lot from OKC other than they are a juggernaut. They are a defensive machine, and they can come back from 27 down against the Memphis Grizzlies.
So here,
that's what we learned.
Yeah.
Who has looked more impressive to you, Cleveland or OKC?
All right, as someone who's a resident Cavs kind of.
Hold on, I will join you. I'm a Cavs hater with you.
Respect.
We will.
Although
there together.
Man, there's something about just pouncing on a wounded gazelle like they have with the Heat.
You may notice there's no Tyler Hero jersey up. We took after the embarrassment of Game 4.
Burn it. To me, it's just there is something to the way they've kind of stomped the life out of Heat culture. Like, that's dead. Like, Heat culture is gone. Like,
I said this to you yesterday. Is Heat culture just like LeBron and Wade were friends and you lucked into Jimmy Butler? Because that's what Heat culture looks like to me.
No, but Heat culture had a second life when they left and with Jimmy.
No, I think you just had great players.
Heat culture left with Jimmy.
That's the culture. Great players want to go there.
If you don't get if they didn't get Jimmy
you better
Butler,
hope you don't see Udonis Haslem on the street. Like, that's all I'm saying.
If they didn't land Jimmy Butler in a kind of a lucky scenario, there is no Heat culture. What is Heat culture? Heat culture is not getting stomped by 60 points.
Jimmy wanted to leave a situation with children and wanted to go to adults in the room. So Heat culture brought Jimmy in, and then Heat culture had an extended life because of Jimmy.
Jimmy tried his best.
Let's not get crazy saying when the Heat beat. I don't know, man. Like,
I'm just saying,
Heat culture's not nothing.
Heat culture is not Cleveland stomping you out. Like, Tyler Hero's on the mic before Game 4 saying, we're not going down, we're not getting swept. Then you have 4 points.
But not even that. You're down like 40 in the second quarter.
Tyler Hero got called out for his defense by Darius Garland.
Yeah.
Who I love. But
like
again, defensively deficient. Like, we're talking about Luka's bad defense. Tyler Hero,
anyways,
man.
So to your point, Cleveland they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. Yeah. Whether you believe in them or not, they have like dominated the entire series wire to wire.
I've been impressed.
For a 1 seed, they're showing the killer instinct that like they might be around when it matters most.
Yeah. I feel like Cleveland almost heard the whispers of like not necessarily from us, but the things that we've said.
Us directly.
Cleveland knows people don't believe in them, and I feel like they wanted to sort of send a message of we're here and we are a real team, and you need to start taking us seriously as a championship contender. Do I? No, I still don't. You beat a bad Heat team. And I don't know, man, like...
I still think Cleveland's a little soft.
I
still think they have soft players. Although Jared Allen, like, just the pick sixes in Game 4, like, he is showing a little bit, but Jared Allen, a lot of these, like, Sam Merrill types.
But, like, Mitchell, the hardest thing to do is get buckets in a tight playoff game. And Donovan Mitchell has proven over his career that he is a guy who can continuously do that.
Yeah, he's been great. And... I mean, I think them versus Indiana is a fun series.
Great series.
I
kind of like Pacers, man. If it's gonna be like Pacers plus 2.5 at like minus 160,
I'd give Indiana a puncher's chance. I think Cleveland probably wins that game, but that has a potential for like an explosive 6.
I think it can go 7.
Honestly, I might be getting this stat wrong, but it's something like from January 1st onward, there was only 3 teams that had a winning percentage around 70, and I think it was OKC. It was Cleveland, and Indy, I think, was the third team. Indiana has been a very good team.
Both ends.
I took them for granted, man. I thought Milwaukee would win that series.
Well,
but
the Dame stuff, not great.
But Indy also showed us last year. I think I kind of dismissed last year because of injuries, but they beat that Knicks team. They still made a conference final.
A couple futures I want to point out. If you think Pacers could beat the Cavs, Pacers to win East plus 2,100.
Wow.
Maybe they get past the Cavs, and then you have them in a conference final on a 21-1 ticket.
Yeah.
If you think they could beat Cleveland.
Yeah.
And if you actually believe in Cleveland, there's still plus money to win the East. I know Boston is obviously the deserved favorite, but it's like looking a little funky with Boston. I don't know. Like sometimes
there's a lot of guys hurt too.
They're kind of banged up. Yeah. Like it doesn't have the same aura as last year. But with that said, it's still the Celtics, and I think the Magic have done a good job of making them play in the mud.
Oh, yeah.
I think it'll look different against a Knicks team.
Orlando's kind of punking them too. I think I think they're kind of giving away a little bit what you can do against Boston. Just kind of out physical them, keep their guys on an island, take away their threes. I think there is a recipe.
I don't think that's Cleveland's game to.
I think Cleveland has too many spots you can pick on.
Yeah.
Which is why I was gonna fade them anyway, right? Like I just think the Bucks thing obviously fell apart with Dame in and out, and then the bad news of his Achilles, like just kind of brutal for the guy. But the Bucks, like Giannis, like great to start the series, kind of faded away. I still worry about Cleveland. I do think the Pacers have a lot of pieces, like Andrew Nembhard. Like respect to our Canadian boy, like he is fearless.
He's been awesome.
Halliburton's kind of got a little swag to him.
Siakam's awesome.
You know what it is? I think Indiana has a very clear identity on who they are, how they want to play, their rotations, and they do what they want to do. Like the shot quality they're generating. I know the Bucks defense is not a good example. They're awful defensively, but they're generating great shots almost every time down the court.
Yeah.
And defensively, they're like a little better than you give credit for.
Yeah.
So I don't know that. I think Cleveland Indy's a very fun potential series.
That might be a lot of scoring in that series.
Yeah, like those could be like buck the trend of these unders in the postseason, right?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Let's finish real quick then. Just we touched on the Bucks and what happened with Dame. Is How many over under 1.5 more Giannis games as a Buck?
Ooh. Under, man. That's it. They're done in Game 5, and he's I mean, let's not. Who knows? But it's obviously best for the Bucks and him to probably part ways because there's no path for them to compete for a championship with the assets they've given out. Who's on their team? It's a faded championship team from a few years ago with like very little remnants of that.
Well, and also the Euros aren't really they don't seem to ask out as much as American-born players. The fact that he's already given that city a championship maybe gives him a little bit more runway to be like, hey, it's time to mutually part ways here.
Their GM just signed an extension. Giannis, it's the ball's in his court. Like I think
it's up to him, right?
He's earned, I think, the right. Like he's re-signed with them twice. Like I think to me, he's earned the right to make a decision. The Dame injury just absolutely them. Like it's sad, it's tragic. They gave it their best shot, and I think it was the trade was to be seen as a failure. They didn't get where they needed to go. If I'm Giannis,
it also handed Boston a championship. So you're going under. You think under?
Yeah, I think so. I think to me this is the year the summer Giannis asks out, and I don't blame him for it. I just don't. And I think, but Milwaukee doesn't own any of their first round picks. So who are they getting back for Giannis? I don't think it's just as simple as expiring contracts and like 6 firsts. I don't think it's that easy. I do think
they want
RJ and how many firsts? RJ and how many firsts?
I mean, if you're a neutral NBA fan, I don't think you want to see Giannis like waste away the final years of his prime on a team that has no chance of doing anything. Yeah. I know it'd be sad. It's nice to see a guy like that play with one team his whole career, but they're unfortunately just not at a point where they're going to be relevant in the league, especially with this. It was already kind of like dicey with Dame, and poor Dame. He's
I feel
that's way to kind of. I don't think he's done as an NBA player, but
he's done for next season.
It's going to be what version?
Well,
of
then
him
he's going to be what?
Get?
He's 37 and making what 60 mil when he comes back.
Like who are the Bucks going to be next year? Like what's that roster look like?
Yeah.
Like what? Like it sucks. I do think this is a chance for Milwaukee to recoup what they can, keep the like. I think you trade Giannis for at least 1 or 2 young studs. Like we mentioned Houston.
Yeah.
Could be interesting, although they really need shooting. But well,
honestly, too, though,
Giannis could be a great.
If you're OKC and say you somehow flame out in the second round, that might be the reason to panic. Not even to panic trade, but to be like, hey, look, we have all these assets. Let's just do this now.
Yeah, the OKC thing is very interesting. Like at some point, Presti's gonna have to cash in some of those chips. Just when does he do it? Like right now, it's actually tenable to keep this core together because at some point, Chet's extension's gonna come, J-Dub's extension's gonna come. You're paying Hartenstein like 30+ mil. Caruso, you got they have a couple dudes on good value contracts, and Aaron Wiggins and Lou Dort, but like. The bill comes due on those young guys. When do you make that move? That's Presti, man. Like you put yourself in this position. When do you cash in those chips? You
might not even have to. If you win a title this year, you don't have to cash those chips.
If you win a title this year, you don't do it.
Yeah. No, you don't have to do anything. Yeah, just hang tight.
You're the gold Homer meme.
Yes.
Laughing.
Yeah.
Connor, get that in.
Get that in there, Connor. On that note, this is Basketball Island. You can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll see you next week.
Playoffs.